Chapter 21, Part 2. The sand, caught in the air in torrents, is dramatically receding, and for the first time I can see the terrain before me for a good 10 to 15 miles. There is what looks like a cityscape, way off in the distance. I can see the silhouette at first, and then, in another instant, the air becomes crystal clear and I observe the view in absolute detail. A fossilized city, petrified past its years by countless eons and transmuted into rock. And only rock remains where man's empire once stood, an imprint in stone, an imprint of life long gone. A testimony and a remnant of man's dominion over the planet, ghosted in the desert landscape in the afterworld. The wind howls around the relic of a city like banshees let out of hell. The sound is made faint by the distance, but it is distinct, and carries with it in the wind a touch most macabre that brings chills to the soul. At times, the deep guttural resonance sounds like people in torment, human voices, as though echoing down through the ages in tortured spirals through the caverns of the damned. One solitary message crying out, "We once were here, but, alas, are here no more." I feel my head becoming heavy, and instead of remaining in theta meditation, I simply fall asleep and lose track of time and bounce around between altered states. As I come round, in my dazed-like stupor, I fancy that I can see movement in the sky, way off on the distant horizon. Movement. Yes, movement. I have the sudden sensation of alarm bells ringing and waves of dark creepiness blending into fear wash over me as I immediately slip out of denial and acknowledge that there is something out there, some kind of craft, and I am no longer alone. The source of my fear is the thought of being visible to alien technologies. I instantly know that what I'm observing is not connected to humanity, distant future or otherwise. I have acquired some kind of extra sense that tells me this. I have adopted a sort of technological discernment, and certain things are completely obvious to me now, but I cannot say how I know these things. Are they otherworldly or interdimensional? What does it matter? I utter to myself. All I really need to know is that I'm safe. Then 3 words from the familiar and the highest source formulate strongly and clearly in my soul. You are safe. 3 words, no more, no less, but exactly what I needed to receive, and I know in my heart that I will be okay, and nothing has been left to chance. I breathe a sigh of relief. I watch the strange craft curiously from the safety of my den, and from the point of view of simply trying to work them out. The craft are 3 strong and remain in the distance, many miles away, maybe as many as 13 to 15, faded by the air perspective along with the mummified city offerings. They have the appearance of large metallic hovering fleas. Their shape is definitely flea-like. That's the only way I can describe them. As the wind shifts direction and shifts back again, I am briefly able to hear the sound of whatever propulsion system they employ. The sound reminds me of the hum and buzz that emanates from a rudimentary electromagnet. They have one continuous luminous green light shining forwards. Occasionally there is another green light, a flat light, that spins once on projecting out before sweeping across the land in short and bright bursts. My first impression is one of rescue. It's like they're looking for someone. But then, in another instant, I realize that these are not rescue ships. These are mining ships. There must be something here that can be used as fuel. These craft are nothing more than energy scavengers, picking over the bones and the carcass of a paradise lost, sniffing over a dead earth. And when the bones are picked clean and the clean bones gone, you shall have stars at elbow and foot. I watch them for a while. There's a sadness to their movement. They have lost every rhythm of life, and they do not dance with the universe. They simply react, like a mechanism. Their back and forth turning, swaying, is more like a pendulum, constant, monotonous. It occurs to me that if one of these metallic cyclops were to pass overhead, they wouldn't even be aware of me. I would be invisible to their instruments. They are not interested in the present. Their only concern is with the ancient energy tracks long left behind, and their focus is not actually the immediate surroundings at all. They only have mind for the lost energy of decadent days. They travel from dead planet to dead planet, harvesting the waves of joys and sorrows past. Energy that has ceased its movement in the pools of the now stagnant etheric. And again, I know this. It is as though the information has somehow been downloaded into my mind. I feel the need to explore these energy signatures in a little more detail in order to harness a little more understanding. The bridge through timescapes that I'm responsible for is of a far higher frequency than the scavengers can detect, and they can only consume the lower vibrations anyway, like a sort of high-tech futuristic vampire. In any case, metaphorically speaking, they are looking the other way, and only into the lowest of frequencies. They will never find me there. Rest assured, I can certainly sleep soundly, safe in the knowledge that my light is forever my guide in these matters, as well as my protector. I'm feeling very pleased with myself. Even though I was specifically told that this was not a test, I feel like I've passed it anyway. Maybe I've been testing myself all along. Time to sleep. My bed feels so very comfortable, and my body sinks effortlessly into the sheets and the soft marshmallow style pillows. The rushing and the swooshing of the endless wind outside, which only seems to die down periodically for a short while before returning with strength, continues to play melodious tunes across the mouth of the cave, and it will only be a short while before I'm slipping into deep, deep slumber. I can see the green light from the craft, flitting and scanning in short spasms from the empty sky and across the faraway desert landscape, and for a moment taking on the appearance of wings, like the wings of an insect that has lost its destiny and purpose, like a moth, for reasons alien to its own nature, inexplicably attracted to a dead and discarded light bulb. These are all impressions that I have as I drift in and out of lucidity. I hear words as I fall into silent numbness, and as I see them projected through ethereal mind to notepad interface, I realize that this thing operates religiously now, relentless, catching even my dreams. Beauty into thoughts, thoughts into concepts, concepts into words, and predicted paragraphs, paragraphs into predicted chapters, all for later approval, all with intuitive editing feedback based on my underlying thought processes, speaking patterns and writing style, and all standard continuous. Writing and correcting and rewriting previous diary inserts so that the style and readability is uniform. I see the words superimposed onto the darkness and the backs of my eyelids. Bliss at the edge of alpha. Bliss at the edge of time. Bliss at the edge of theta. Delta, delta, mine.